What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Paddy Pimblett has already started looking ahead to his next fight, and he sounds genuinely interested in a matchup with Benoit Saint-Denis. Pimblett admitted he was frustrated after seeing Saint-Denis jump ahead of him in the rankings, especially after that recent win, and he made it clear it didn't sit well with him at all. According to Paddy, the idea that Saint-Denis passed him just for beating Dan Hooker really annoyed him, and he didn't hold back when talking about it. Pimblett said he has never been the type to turn down opponents. Whoever's name shows up on the contract, he signs it and fights. Still, he admitted that Saint-Denis sounds like a great option, calling it a clash between two of Europe's best lightweights. He also mentioned he's open to other names, including Arman, and stressed that he genuinely doesn't care who it is. What matters most to Paddy is timing. He expects to be back by the summer and says he's completely healthy. Despite the talk about damage from his last fight, he insists he had no concussion, no headaches, and no lingering issues. The eye pokes? He says he is ready to go whenever the call comes. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news. Tensions have exploded after Ilia made aggressive comments about Sean Strickland during a Georgian YouTube livestream. Once those remarks were translated into English and spread across social media, the situation escalated almost instantly. In the clip, Ilia warned Strickland to be careful about the things he says regarding Khamzat and people from the Caucasus region. He stressed that in that part of the world, words carry serious weight and can have real consequences beyond the internet. Ilia made it clear that disrespect is not taken lightly where he comes from, hinting that if their paths ever crossed in real life, things could turn ugly. While he didn't explicitly threaten violence, the tone of the message was unmistakably a warning. Fans quickly picked up on it, with many pointing out the cultural undertones and how differently trash talk can be interpreted depending on background. Not long after, new footage surfaced showing Strickland responding, and he did not hold back. In classic fashion, Sean went off, saying that if Ilia had a problem with him, he should stop talking online and address it face-to-face. Strickland mocked the idea of internet warnings and doubled down on his confrontational style, daring Ilia to say the same things to him in person rather than behind a screen. As the rant continued, Strickland turned the heat up even further. He spoke about physical confrontation in blunt terms and framed himself as someone who thrives on real-life conflict, not online back and forth. The response quickly crossed into more personal territory when Sean referenced Ilia's family, making remarks that many fans and fighters immediately criticized as going too far. What started as a title-focused call-out aimed at Khamzat has now spiraled into something much bigger. The situation has evolved into a wider feud, involving multiple fighters, cultural tensions, and deeply personal shots. The MMA community is split, with some defending Strickland's raw honesty and others calling out the unnecessary escalation. Judging by how both sides are reacting, this conflict is far from cooling down. The words exchanged have pushed things beyond simple trash talk, and the fallout is already being felt across social media. If anything, the situation continues to grow more volatile by the day. Moving on to another news. Paddy Pimblett has made it clear he is not happy after rewatching his fight with Justin Gaethje. Immediately after his loss at UFC 324, Paddy kept things fairly quiet. He didn't publicly complain about the judges, the officiating, or how the fight was handled in the moment. At the time, he accepted the unanimous decision and chose not to stir controversy. But nearly a month later, after sitting down and rewatching the bout, his feelings have clearly changed. Statistically, the striking numbers between Paddy and Gaethje were quite close, which surprised a lot of fans. However, the visual damage told a very different story. Pimblett walked away looking badly beaten, while Gaethje barely showed signs of being in a tough fight. That contrast alone made the loss harder for Paddy to process once he reviewed it again with fresh eyes. In a recent YouTube video, Pimblett filmed himself rewatching the fight and reacting in real time. From the opening minutes, his frustration was obvious. He repeatedly criticized the commentary, saying the commentators were annoying and biased throughout the broadcast. He even mentioned feeling bad for anyone who had placed massive bets on the fight, implying the narrative didn't reflect what was actually happening inside the cage. One of Paddy's biggest issues was an eye poke he claims affected his vision. He pointed out that Gaethje poked him in the eye, saying he couldn't see properly out of his right eye afterward. He questioned why no point was taken, especially since the replay clearly showed the foul. According to Paddy, watching that moment back only made his anger worse. He He also took issue with what was called a low blow during the fight. Pimblett insisted the strike landed on the belt line, not the cup, and said the commentary completely misrepresented the situation. He felt the calls favored Gaethje and dismissed his side of the story entirely. By the end of the rewatch, Paddy admitted the whole experience infuriated him. He said it reminded him of how Jared Gordon must have felt after their controversial bout, and acknowledged that, regardless of everything, he should have done more in the fight. Moving on to another news, Bisping has nothing but praise for Sean Strickland after his statement win in the UFC Houston main event. Bisping called Strickland's third-round TKO over Anthony Hernandez one of the best performances of his entire career and a clear signal that he is back as a serious title threat at middleweight. According to Bisping, this version of Strickland looked sharper, calmer, and more disciplined than he has in years. Bisping pointed out how Strickland established his jab early, controlled the distance, and never allowed Hernandez, also known as Fluffy, to settle into his rhythm. Every time Fluffy tried to close the gap or threaten with takedowns, Strickland shut him down with positioning, timing, and constant pressure. The improvement in his striking stood out, especially the way he mixed his shots and stayed composed under pressure. What really caught Bisping's attention, though, was Strickland's post-fight callout of Khamzat Bisping, described it as perfectly timed and extremely smart. Instead of calling out another contender, Strickland went straight for the champion, accusing him of holding up the division and bullying his way to the top without defending the belt. Bisping believes that kind of talk carries real weight because of their shared history. Strickland and Khamzat have trained together in the past, and Bisping emphasized that this gives Sean a unique level of confidence. He knows Khamzat's tendencies, understands his style, and has been needling him publicly for months. That ongoing tension has only added fuel to the fire and made the potential matchup even more compelling. For months, Nasruddin Imavov was seen as the clear favorite for the next middleweight title shot. However, Bisping believes Strickland's dominant win over Fluffy has completely shifted the narrative. The MMA community is now openly discussing the possibility of the UFC skipping Imavov altogether and giving Strickland the opportunity instead. Bisping broke down the performance in detail, praising Sean's use of jabs and teeps to keep Fluffy at bay. Those tools prevented Hernandez from entering the pocket, landing combinations, or chaining takedowns. By constantly moving, managing range, and unloading with more power shots than usual, Strickland delivered a technical masterclass. Bisping finished by saying that if fans couldn't appreciate what they witnessed, it might be because they don't truly understand high-level striking. Strickland's momentum is undeniable, and the pressure on Khamzat to defend the belt is now rising fast. Moving on to another news, Chris Weidman has issued a clear warning to Gable Steveson as the hype around his MMA transition continues to grow. So far, Steveson has lived up to much of the excitement surrounding his move into the sport. Only 3 fights into his professional MMA career, some fans are already speculating about how he might match up with elite heavyweights in the UFC. Still, Weidman believes that kind of talk can be dangerous if it leads to rushing development. Weidman recently competed at a Mexico Fight League event and spoke afterward about Steveson's rapid rise. Despite Steveson having a brief scare after eating a head kick from Hugo Lozama, the powerful heavyweight prospect recovered quickly and secured a first-round finish. The performance impressed many, but Weidman urged caution when discussing Steveson's future at the highest level. Speaking with MMA Junkie, Weidman explained why he thinks Steveson and his team need to slow things down and build carefully. He pointed to Aaron Pico as a prime example of how talent alone doesn't guarantee long-term success. Weidman reminded fans that Pico was an incredible wrestler with elite boxing credentials, yet he lost early in his career. According to Weidman, the real test is not just talent, but how a fighter responds to adversity. Weidman went on to say that repeated early knockouts can permanently affect a fighter's durability and confidence. He admitted it was painful to watch Pico struggle because his skill set and potential were so high. Facing tough competition too early, Weidman explained, can change the trajectory of a career in ways that are hard to reverse, even for gifted athletes. While Pico has still picked up memorable wins and flashes of brilliance, many fans agree his career hasn't unfolded the way it once seemed it might. That comparison is exactly why Weidman believes Steveson should be brought along at the right pace, protecting his development and long-term health. During the same interview, Weidman was also asked about a possible trilogy bout with Anderson Silva on a May 16th card, rumored to involve Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. Weidman said he would consider it for the right price and the right event. He also mentioned that Silva recently knocked out Tyron Woodley and even called him out, adding that he wouldn't mind settling things again for old time's sake. Moving on to another news. Alex Pereira has officially called out Ciryl Gane for a massive showdown at the White House event. With Tom Aspinall sidelined for the foreseeable future, Pereira is wasting no time and is actively pushing for an interim heavyweight title opportunity. The timing could not be better, and Alex knows it. The potential fight gained serious traction after it was leaked by Oscar Willis, who revealed that the UFC is planning to book Pereira versus Gane on the Miami card ahead of the White House event. That report only fueled speculation, and Pereira has now confirmed that this is exactly the fight he wants. Speaking on a recent Portuguese podcast, Pereira explained why the matchup makes perfect sense. He described it as a true mega fight at heavyweight, emphasizing that if he is moving up in weight, it has to be for gold. According to Alex, unless the UFC somehow offers him a fight with Jon Jones, which he believes is very unlikely, Gane is the most logical and dangerous opponent available. With Aspinall out and no clear return date in sight, an interim belt fight is the natural move for the division. Pereira made it clear that he isn't interested in a tune-up or a slow transition. He wants a title fight immediately, and he wants it on the biggest possible stage. That stage, in his eyes, is the White House event. Adding even more hype to the card, Justin Gaethje is also expected to be part of the event, alongside the top American star who currently holds the belt. That champion is widely expected to unify titles against Ilia, making the card feel stacked from top to bottom. Multiple championship-level fights across divisions could turn this into one of the most memorable UFC events in recent years. Pereira didn't hold back when explaining his mindset. He said all he wants is a super fight at heavyweight and believes Gane is the perfect opponent. He praised Gane as a great striker who is fast, technical, and dangerous, but still insisted the fight needs to happen now. According to Pereira, if he goes to heavyweight, it must be for the belt. He believes the division needs a spark, and he's ready to provide it. Alex closed by saying he's ready, the timing is right, and everything makes sense. He called on Gane to step up and promised to deliver something huge for the fans and for the heavyweight division. Moving on to another news. Daniel Cormier has expressed concern for Khamzat following Sean Strickland's dominant performance this past weekend. For weeks, the general belief was that Khamzat could easily control the UFC's middleweight division as long as he stayed at 185 pounds. Talks had even started circulating about a potential move to 205 to Jiří Procházka. However, Strickland's recent win over Anthony Hernandez has some analysts and fighters now considering that he could present a unique challenge for Khamzat. During his post-fight coverage, DC discussed how Strickland might fare against the middleweight champ. He admitted uncertainty about whether Sean could defend against Khamzat enough to avoid takedowns and control for the full 25 minutes. But he emphasized that if the version of Strickland that showed up in Houston appeared in that fight, Khamzat would face a far tougher challenge than expected. Even fighters like Israel Adesanya at the peak of their powers struggled against this version of Strickland, which demonstrates the threat he now poses. DC contrasted this performance with Strickland's showing against Dricus du Plessis, where he didn't appear fully locked in. His body language, posture, and lack of confidence were all visible, and even his coach's frustration highlighted the difference. That night, Strickland didn't look like the fighter who had once become the world champion. In Houston, however, he looked fully composed, sharp, and dangerous. DC highlighted that this version of Strickland reminded everyone of his championship caliber abilities, with precision striking, controlled movement, and mental focus that could pose serious problems for Khamzat. The UFC middleweight landscape is suddenly shifting, with Strickland's momentum creating new possibilities and questions for the division's top contender. Khamzat's next matchup now carries added intrigue, as fans and analysts consider whether Strickland's resurgence could challenge the previously uncontested champion. Moving on to another news. Jacobe Smith has revealed the real reason behind his bold call-out of Kevin Holland following his breakout performance at UFC Houston. Smith shocked fans with a vicious knockout win and then surprised many even more when he immediately called for a fight with Holland, a proven and dangerous name in the division. After Smith brutally finished Josiah Harrell with a relentless flurry of punches, he wasted no time on the mic. What made the moment even better was the fact that Holland was actually in attendance that night and heard the call out live inside the arena. The moment quickly went viral and sparked plenty of discussion among fans. Speaking with Full Send MMA after the win, Smith explained that the call-out wasn't personal at all. He said there was no bad blood and no disrespect behind it. According to Smith, the idea came from conversations within his inner circle, including Daniel Cormier, where Holland's name kept coming up. Smith said Holland sits at the very top tier of the welterweight division, so calling him out simply made sense. Smith also pointed out that Holland is known for fighting anyone, anywhere, and often multiple times a year. When one of Smith's previous opponents dropped out, he joked that they should just call Holland since he's always active. Those jokes turned into motivation, and Smith decided that if he won, he would make the call official. There's no denying that Holland has built a reputation as one of the most game fighters at both 170 and 185 pounds. Following the call-out, Holland responded on social media in typical fashion, posting a short and sarcastic message that read, "Damn, got called out by a muscle." The exchange only added more fuel to a matchup that fans are already intrigued by. Moving on to another news. The conversation around who could be next for Conor is starting to get interesting. A surprising name now circulating is Carlos Prates, with rumors suggesting Conor could step in to face him on the UFC White House card. While it sounds unexpected at first, the matchup actually makes a lot of sense from the UFC's point of view. If Conor were to win a fight like that, it would instantly push him back into a title conversation. The star power alone would be massive, and a strong performance would give the promotion everything it needs to justify another championship opportunity. The UFC has never hidden the fact that they are willing to bend plans to put Conor in big spots. Facing Prates would also allow Conor to test himself without jumping straight into the deepest waters. It fits the business, the hype, and the long-term vision perfectly for everyone.